So we're going to a certain embassy to meet a certain person of particular interest right now, and I think you can all make the obvious assumption of who that is and where we're going. Hey everybody, what's going on? So I wanted to explain the basics of Vault 7, and first I'll tell you what it is. Wikileaks recently published a huge trove of information on the CIA, and this includes some of their weapons and capabilities. Basically, they can hack things like smartphones, they can hack TVs, and they can make your TV watch you, for example. They can turn your microphone on and listen to you, for example. But Wikileaks didn't publish the actual weapons. So I'm going to explain to you how this works and give you some idea of the basics. First, there's malware. That's pretty obvious to most people. It's like viruses. They can infect your computer and take it over and make it do whatever, shut it down, gain access to your information. But there's another phrase that most people aren't familiar with, and that's a zero-day exploit, okay? So first, exploit, it's an obvious phrase. It's something they can take advantage of within the system. Zero-day means that this exploit has existed in the public knowledge for 0 days. What this basically means is that the CIA has access to a ton of different services, different software, and they can use this access to disable it, to control it, or destroy it, whatever. They can steal your information, they can turn on microphones, but it doesn't always mean they can shut down everything on the device. A zero-day exploit might gain them access to a particular space in a piece of hardware. So let me give you a basic analogy. Imagine you have a big building and there are security guards all around it. This is the software company headquarters, and they're pretty confident nobody can get in. Eventually, a group like the CIA notices there's a window they can climb through, and once they're inside, they have access to a certain portion. Sometimes this allows them access to the entire building. Once they're in one room, they can get in the other ones. Sometimes they can only stay in that one room, but maybe figure out a way to cause serious damage or gain information from that specific area. Wikileaks has been contemplating whether or not they're going to share this arsenal with the tech companies that are affected, because the idea is the tech companies can't protect its users if they don't know what the problems are. In Wikileaks' press conference the other day, they announced that they will be working with the tech companies to help patch these holes and solve these problems, which in my opinion is a good thing. What's particularly troubling is that the CIA knows that many software companies have these holes. They know that hardware, cell phones, have these holes, and they don't work with the companies to let them know it's happening, meaning it could be that it's not just the CIA who has these weapons, but foreign governments that will also use them against people like United States citizens. To make matters worse, it is speculated that these weapons have been passed around out of control, just chaotically, for a long time now, and that's actually how Wikileaks got their hands on it. This means the CIA probably knew its weapons were floating around in the private sector amongst contractors and maybe even foreign governments. The scary thing is that we just don't know. The good news is that technically they're no longer zero-day exploits. With Wikileaks' announcement to work with tech companies to fix these problems, it means that you have less to worry about. So my advice to you is that if a patch or update comes out, it's probably a good idea to update your apps, update your phone, and pay attention to these kinds of stories. Otherwise, it could be you who has your information leaked, or it's you who could be on the back end of a remote access tool, someone screwing with your life. Now I'll admit, the average person is not likely to be a victim of these attacks. However, journalists, politicians, activists, people who are working hard to try and improve the system will likely be victims of these attacks. Journalists, they tend not to be particularly tech savvy. It's very easy for them to fall into the smallest of holes. It's really important for a free and democratic society that we have good journalism, which we haven't seen enough of lately. So when you hear that these weapons are out there, and we know that journalists aren't particularly good with this stuff, it's really scary. Now we're looking at a future where journalists not only have become advocates citing one political ideology or the other, but we also have the future where journalists don't know how this technology works, and the good journalists, the ones who actually pay attention, the ones who are actually fighting for some kind of factual storytelling, are going to become the victims of cyber attacks, and they're going to be shut down. So, long story short, it's really important that everybody learns a little bit about how these things work, and I hope this was at least a little bit informative. Let's go get lunch. one thing you should know if you ever come to London, they don't have any air conditioning, and all of the buildings are really hot, at least compared to the US. That's why we're on the terrace and it's 50 degrees. So while we wait, we're gonna go to this super massive shopping center behind us because we need to pick up some cables for our equipment. So there's a giant mall called, what's it called, Harrod?
Harrod's.
Harrod's. It's seriously huge. Look how crazy this looks. My iPhone cable just stopped working for no reason. So I gotta buy one. I also gotta get a micro USB cable. Oh, look at this, look at this. This is one of those wheels where it's like you just stand on it, the sides fold down, and then it rolls forward. It's kind of like one of those hoverboards, but it only has one wheel. Yeah, people have them all over. Oh, look at that, they got Tekken 3.
This is Octave.
You're right, it does say Octopter.
Octave.
Wow, they spelled that one wrong. Oh no, that must be a brand name.
Yeah.
The Octopter?
That's hard to say.
Look at this, look at this. I've seen these online.
Oh yeah, I remember I was looking at that.
Yeah. One-man mini submarine.
I need one. So this is James Bond stuff?
Yeah, I guess. Oh, look. Camouflage tapes, you ever see these?
Oh yeah, they have those at headshots.
Yep. I wonder what they're for. Spying. Yeah, right. Ooh.
You know, this is my grandma's favorite movie.
Oh, yeah? You sure it's not your favorite movie?
It's not.
Sold. Ooh, look at that. Rocky. I mean, that stuff's expensive. It's not like the most expensive stuff I've ever seen. Oh, yeah.
No, that's...
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this publicly, so I'll shoot this anyway. So we're going to a certain embassy to meet a certain person of particular interest right now. And I think you can all make the obvious assumption of who that is and where we're going. So we just gotta turn right here, right? How do we cross the street? Up there? Well, it's just about that time, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure we can't bring the cameras in, so I don't know if we'll be able to actually use any of this, or if I'm even allowed to talk about meeting with these people. So, let's see what happens. So I didn't know whether or not to include any of this, the fact that we met with Julian, but I figured maybe I should just be transparent about what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. But it's also an opportunity to explain to a lot of you who aren't familiar with journalism or these kinds of interviews how it works. But what I want to say is, I've tried getting an interview with Julian in the past. You gotta imagine he's very, very busy. You know, even this meeting was relatively hard to get. But when you're dealing with issues that are as sensitive or dangerous or important as this, people can never be too careful. And so pretty much the first thing you have to do is meet somebody. Figure out what works, why, what can be done. In order to understand what you can and can't say about sensitive situations, you've got to meet. And so that's basically what we did. We just had a light conversation, not that long, and trying to get a picture of what is safe to talk about, what we can talk about. At this time, we weren't set up or prepared for doing an interview or anything like that, but hopefully this is the first step towards getting interviews set up. This is the kind of stuff you don't normally see in news, right? When you see an interview with someone like Julian, it probably took a very long time to organize. especially considering the fact that he just does his own press conferences anyway. This Vault 7 stuff is just the beginning. Less than 1% of the leaks have been published, and there's more to come. So this is the work we have to do in the meantime. If I'm going to be able to show you what we're doing and how we're doing it, sometimes you're going to see us say we're going to a building, and then it's nighttime and we walked out. With that, stay tuned for more videos every day, because I will be talking about a lot of these issues and dealing with day-to-day news stuff. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Timcast. Make sure to like the video, because that really helps, and share the video, comment below, let me know what you think. I will see you all tomorrow for more interesting news and travel. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Adios.